Hello there, and welcome to the Natalie
and Dennis
Show podcast. Wow, what a sad day.
Hit the song.
Hit it, Natalie. This is how we feel, people. So, obviously, we lost at Copa America. It was the worst experience of my life. Natalie's posted a couple TikToks and Instagrams of my sadness. Yeah.
What an experience, for sure. Honestly, let's start from the very beginning. Let's address the elephant in the room. What went down at Copa America, the craziest event literally in history here, because if you guys haven't seen the news, it was chaos.
It was awful. It was awful. And, you know, if you listen to the previous podcast, we talked about how we didn't make it into the Peru and Argentina game on time. And you keep saying how we learned from that experience and how
a blessing.
We got there extremely early because of the previous fuck up that we did.
Yes.
Right. And so that leads us into the beginning of our story of, you know, obviously getting into the stadium, Copa America, how it went down. And then Sabina had her own story. Something else happened to her because she didn't actually go in. She dropped us off and went her merry way with her boyfriend, Jonathan.
I'm just their unwelcome child, so I didn't get a ticket.
Not true.
But you were one of the main reasons we made it so early. We didn't have to deal with parking.
Yes.
Okay.
Well, here's the story, though, because we haven't even really, like, how did we get tickets to Copa America?
Oh, we discussed that on the previous podcast.
Oh, we did?
We did talk about it.
Yeah. Oh, my bad. Okay, well, if you haven't listened to that podcast, we'll let you know how we actually got the tickets. But now for the day.
Okay, so we got there 6 hours early?
Yes.
7 hours early? I can't even tell at this point. It was so early.
And yet it was busy.
And we waited by the ticket line for the door to open. And we were maybe fifth in line, sixth in line.
10th. Yeah.
Whatever. There was a family in front of us. Then there was like a couple of people, and then it was us.
Yeah.
Right.
But even if you look at the video of the kind of like the moment, because I was Insta storing my experience, it was already full from the back.
Yeah.
Right. And the thing is, the Copa America entrance, it's kind of like a big parking lot, and there's a street before that, and then there's the entrance. So there was a ton of people kind of hanging around in the barbecue area, like celebrating and all of that, because they really wouldn't open doors till 5. The game started at 8, right?
Yeah.
So it could have been very easy for us to have stayed in all that and been like, hey, what does it matter? Our tickets are there. Well, it's 3 hours early. We're just right outside. So I think that's what ended up happening to a lot of people.
The thing is, a lot of people, we learned through our personal experience, obviously, again, the Peru and Argentina game, that it kind of had us nervous. I think those nerves and that anxiety led us to saying, oh, we need to get in there quick. And not just that, but we also had the experience to know that they sell food inside. There was no need for us to be outside in the parking lot eating barbecue or anything.
But that's what's sad, because being outside is a part of the experience. It's a part of the vibe. We skipped out on that. And I remember you're like, you don't want to go walk around for a little bit? And I was like, no, I want to be here first. But I never anticipated anything like this. I just felt like, I don't know why. I just felt like I needed to be here first. I don't like the chaos. But I never really, truly, I never anticipated anything like this. Like when you look at the news, it's terrible. When you see moms looking for their kids in a freaking mob, that is so sad.
The thing is, usually I end up like countering you and be like, hey, like why? I'll be like, why do we need to be here? Why?
Right. You kept saying that to me.
But I said, this time I kind of just decided like, I'm going to go with Natalie's intuition. Let's just go in. So I didn't actually.
Well, you would tell me various times. No, you wouldn't argue, but you're like, you want to go walk around? Come on, let's go walk around. I was like, no, I don't want to. No, I don't want to. Like kind of a party.
But I also didn't make it like a fuss about it. That's what I'm saying. I also kind of felt a weird, not energy. I also don't want to say that there was a weird energy at the beginning either.
There wasn't. It was iconic. It was like people were dressed up and it was just so great. It's amazing. So really, when we ended up going in pretty early, as we mentioned, we
entered the stadium, got some food.
It was so fun.
Sat at our chair,
playing a bunch of cool music. I went to the bathroom several times. I got chicken tenders. Like we got the whole stuff.
Like inside, it was like
it was okay.
Stadium. It was perfect. It was clean.
But here's the thing: I start to look around and I'm like, the seats are kind of empty.
Yeah.
And I was telling Dennis, I was like, wait, there's 20 minutes till the game. I thought this was going to be a full pack game. And what did you say?
There was only 20 minutes left in the game.
Yeah.
And I was like, this is looking kind of odd. I also said, and then the teams came out to warm up.
Mm-hmm.
And then they went back inside. And then they said time delay, 30 minutes.
There's a time delay. And you're like, that's a little odd. That never
happens at soccer games ever.
And then they're still panning to the crowd. Everybody's moving. We're trying to get noticed. Like, yeah. You know, it's all fun and games. And I was like, wait, where my people? Because we're literally surrounded by like
Argentinians.
3 Argentinian families. I was like, oh no, are we in the like Argentinian section?
Yeah, but no, it's mixed.
But it was mixed. And then lo and behold, there is this man on television. He's a police officer and he's very serious. He's vocalizing some things. However, the stadium turned off the audio. So now everybody's looking around and we're like, what's happening? That's a little odd. So now in this moment, I start getting text messages. Are you okay? What's going on? Liza's like, oh my God, this is crazy. When you start getting messages like that, oh my God, this is crazy. You're like, you start getting really worried and worked up.
My mom messaged me. She was like, please tell me you're okay. I need to know that you're safe. I was like, wait, what?
Yes.
And then I ended up putting, we have YouTube TV. So I opened the app and then it's like helicopter footage of outside and it's like a stampede of people. Right.
Wow.
My dad was like, oh, on TV, this is crazy. Like, what's going on? They're not letting people in. Some people have snuck in. And then like, I'm looking at like the Argentinians next to us and he's on his WhatsApp and like people are messaging him videos of others sneaking into the stadium through like air vents, through like all sorts of ways.
Crazy.
And I'm like, okay, we're safe. We haven't seen anything odd. You know, at most people are attempting to just get in. So I was like, let's just chill here.
However,
let's not go anywhere. Let's stay still.
It doesn't make you feel good when everybody's texting you and also you're seeing through the cameras and through things, people just coming in and outside, they're losing control. I was trying to feel like squished. That's what I was, even though there was nobody yet. And then this happens. This man comes running in, disoriented, with glass in his arms, with glass in his legs. He is bleeding. And he's literally like falling over, but running. Okay.
Yeah.
And this lady that was next to him is like, ay, amor, like to her husband. She's like, vámonos de acá, esto está horrible. Like she started to get worked up. And then everybody in our section was like, what happened? Are you okay? Do you need help? He's like bleeding. And he was like, do you see this? Do you see this glass right here? I'm okay. It is a disaster out there. It is a nightmare. People are falling over. This escalator has shattered. Like
I saw that.
That was crazy.
I saw that on social media.
It's unbelievable.
Oh my God.
So apparently a lot of people try to get into an escalator and it just like couldn't support the amount of weight and the force from people being in it.
Fear. I hate mobs. I hate crowds and I hate escalators.
But the escalator didn't go backwards.
Right.
Like it just like, it had glass on the sides. It just popped.
Yeah.
It just like popped open. It couldn't hold it.
So after he said that, he continued to run disoriented towards his seat. And everybody was like, what the heck is going on? Even the security guard was like, I ain't dealing with
this guy's weird. Yeah.
He was like, I ain't dealing with this. And then seconds later, you hear like this roar, literally like a roar in the hallways.
Yeah, it's like stampeding.
And you look left, you look right, where people are entering.
The 2 tunnels on our side.
Everybody's squishing in. Matter of fact, I even was recording in that very moment. I was like, what is this noise? And I was recording. And in the video, you see everybody just like so tight. You even see this guy doing la bendición.
Yeah.
He was like whatever.
Like he finally made it.
Oh my God. And literally within seconds, everything was full.
The whole stadium got full in like a couple minutes.
Yeah.
It's like I was explaining it to Natalie. It was like you spilled a bottle of water and then the water just like takes over a table. It was like that. That was how many people were streaming in through the tunnels.
But it wasn't calm and collected. People were
it was
bumping
crazy.
into each other. People were jumping over stuff because people who didn't have seats were like
mixed.
Were trying to figure out where to sit. But even then, because here's the thing, I looked around our specific area and I felt like these people had gotten in. Why? I thought that, but we
all thought that.
But there was a contradiction after because they looked not well. They looked very drunk. They were wearing backpacks, which you're not allowed to come in with backpacks. They had a change of shirts. They were smoking weed. There was this couple that was
handing it out too. You guys had told me.
Yeah, they were passing it around.
Yeah, they were. It was very heavy, and there was kids around. There was parents.
It was a big ass doobie, and it was on fire.
It got so like foggy, and it felt so dark, and just like it was a really nasty energy. Thank goodness we were behind. What do you call it? Like this private area, because I don't do well in crowds. And I kept telling Dennis, I'm like, the only reason I'm calm now is if things get out of hand, I'm going to jump back.
So behind us was like this really nice booth where people pay like
a lot of money,
thousands and thousands of dollars.
Nobody was there.
And it's full of food, right? Yeah. And like, there's like random people running through it to get to our seats. Like they're getting through it to go down to the seats, jumping and stuff. Yeah. There's like people running with glass bottles, like this one, this exact one, whipping it out of their shirts. And you're like, okay, these people are odd. They don't look like they have really good intentions. Their eyes, they look lost.
They looked lost. That's the part that really creeped me out. It's just, but here's why now I go back and I'm like, no shit. Of course you're going to be like that. Florida is so hot. Imagine being outside for over 2 hours, being pushed and mobbed, and like just that anxiety. I would have come in like that too. Like animalistic, like it doesn't matter. Like I'm going to get through. And I think that's the sad part when you look at these videos and they're blaming people for sneaking in.
Yeah.
I mean, they were locked out. Literally against a fence. People had tickets and they were locked out, and then they just had a bunch of people pushing them back. Who isn't going to freak out? I think that?
So. The problem is so much deeper than that, because if you don't have a ticket, first of all, what are you doing there?
No, 100%.
Secondly, if you did have a ticket and then you're starting to realize you're not going to make it on time, then you get a little bit desperate.
100%.
Then what do? Do you sneak in? And then once you're in, or you can be like, no, like I have a ticket, because you need to be in order to even present your ticket.
I hate to say this. I really do. But in my heart, I feel like for me, it could have gone two ways. It could have been like being very nice, and I would have been allowed myself to be pushed around and cried and like had a panic attack sort of thing. Or two, I would have been like, like vicious, like this is survival, like we're Natalie. Pushing through, like we're getting through. I wanted to come to this game. What do you mean? I have my tickets. Like I fear that maybe that also would have been me, and that's not a representation of who I even am.
Yeah.
But in that moment, you're hot, it's humid. Come on, in Florida,
you're also being taken advantage of by those that don't have tickets.
100%.
And so, are you just going to sit there and let these people ruin this opportunity, this beautiful moment that you're supposed to have?
Once in a lifetime celebration, because you even said it. This is our Super Bowl type of level. Like that's what it felt like.
Yeah.
People came in from so far. I mean, we came in 3 hours away, but some people flew here from so far. So like, I can't even imagine. Some people paid a lot of
I saw
money,
a lot of videos.
Thousands of dollars.
This guy was like, I brought my whole family. I spent $15,000 on this, and I didn't make it in.
No. See that?
Yeah.
That, oh my gosh.
So you have a friend that didn't actually make it in.
I have a friend who didn't make it in. You know what's so sad? I was following up with her whole story. Like she came to Miami a whole day early.
Yeah.
She was like, oh my God, me and my husband, we spent an arm and a leg on this. They're so happy. I'm so excited for them. You know, took off like 3 days from work, the whole thing. And didn't make it in. And
stood outside in the grass watching as people snuck in and took their spots.
She's literally recording. She's like, dude, how are they climbing that? That is so crazy. And then you have police, like SWAT teams on top, pushing them down. I even saw this video. Seriously, to the authorities that had to deal with this, I apologize on everybody's behalf, because it is embarrassing. This man was running in. He wasn't, I assume, I don't know. That's the part. Mm-hmm. See, he was running in, and the authority obviously is pushing him off, and then has the decency to even give him back his shirt. After this man literally was punching him and everything, he's like, your shirt. Oh my God. No, it was not.
The one that I saw, and this is like the weird thing, right? So people were trying to get in with screenshots of the tickets.
Oh my goodness.
And so when they put it up against the scanner, the scanner's going to say, no, like it's a red.
What do you mean? How does that work?
So, okay. We went in, and when I used my NFC on my phone to scan, and like it turns green.
Yeah.
It means our ticket worked, right?
Yeah.
They let us in. So people use screenshots to try to get in.
Mm-hmm.
The device says no, right? And so what is the worker supposed to do in that instance? Turn you away.
And that's,
right? They're supposed to turn you away because your ticket is obviously false. But you could see that the workers were getting fed up and a little bit anxious because
I think scared.
If you think about it this way, you've had 20 people consecutively, none of their tickets work.
That's true. That's
like is it arm end maybe?
Right? No. So every single person was getting in with fake tickets, right? And so it's like occasionally you'll get a green, but if everybody's getting red tickets, right? I saw this girl who used, I think it was Canva, who switched the number on her ticket to get a better ticket.
No, dude.
So apparently they had a really shitty seat and she changed the number. Like, come on, people. Like, they're acting wild.
But that's the part. Like, you can't sit here and convince someone who already decided to do something that bad. Like, nobody's convincing that person. They're already
bad
on that side of, like, they're already just not there. You know, they don't care. So that's the harsh part. Because, it's ridiculous to even talk about.
I also saw some videos of influencers that snuck in, right?
That is crazy when you...
I believe that it might not have been done with bad intention originally. So this is the way that I want to put it, right? I've seen videos of people sneaking into concerts all the time. They'll go with like a fake media pass or a ladder, or they'll dress up as like a construction worker and they'll go in. It's all for like the video, right? All these influencers snuck in to make good videos in their personal opinion. They think that these videos are good. But then like the disaster happened. So not only did they sneak in, but like literally half the stadium snuck in. So that makes their videos look even worse because that looks like they're condoning.
Well, that looks bad in the...
Yes.
That's still bad.
They're condoning sneaking in originally, but then it's even worse because it became like a big issue about people sneaking in.
I have to argue with you. I think if you're doing that in the first place, it's bad.
No, it is bad. That's what I'm saying. But the microscope is very centered on them now because it became such a big problem because of what everybody else did, right? If everything would have gone down fine, even though what they did was bad, it wouldn't have brought it to the surface like this big incident did. It made everyone like, oh, look, those are the people that ruined the show and the event and all this. And I mean, they contributed it to the craziness.
Man, there's one video that really gets me where it's somebody recording from above. And it looks like ants, truly. And you see a dad holding his daughter and he cannot get through because he's trying to push people off, but he's also at the end of the door. Like he's literally against the door. And the way this little kid gets smacked around too, like it's the inhumaneness of just... But I know that, like, I can't say that people didn't mean to hit the girl or not. I can just imagine the desperation in that moment. It starts with like the heat, the anxiety, people pushing you. Oh my God, I don't know.
The problem is that people went with the intention of sneaking in. And then the problem is that too many people went with that bad intention. And so it led into mob mentality. And then it got wild. And then it got crazy, right? How much of this blame do you put on the event creator or the person who was supposed to be in charge of security and all these things? Or is it a mixture of the people trying to sneak in and finding an opportunity to sneak in?
From my personal experience, from the past game that we went to, it was very unorganized, which is why it foreshadowed this in the sense of I didn't think something like this would happen, but I was like, this is very unorganized. That's how I felt, right? Yeah. And then you see that one soccer player who also played in that stadium. He was Uruguayan? Uruguayo.
Oh, but you're talking about the fight that happened in the stadium.
Did that happen there too, or did that?
It was a different stadium. It was in Charlotte.
Stadium. Interesting. Well, I thought that was interesting. How he also mentioned how it's a disaster out there, how his family's not safe, how the security is really bad, and how they need to like to think that. First of all, there's thousands of people at the stadium now, right? Over 60,000. I think it holds over 60 something. You also have celebrities there, and to think that nobody came in with them like through a metal detector. Only the
most people didn't,
right. That is crazy to me.
Mm-hmm.
And should they have canceled the game, or like should have it continued? That's another like who, you know what I mean? It's just so many. It was chaotic in that sense.
So a lot of reporters of Fox, which is like an American news outlet, said that if it was any game normally held here in America, they would have canceled it.
Was it not held in America?
Normally held by an American company.
Oh,
not just held in America.
So
no,
it wasn't held
it's Conmebol. It's a Latin American company, right?
Yikes, dude.
So
that looks bad.
There's so many errors in terms of security, right? So they didn't have a perimeter. You need multiple perimeters and gates through which people need to get through in order to even get to the stadium. Mm-hmm. The original email said that no one without a ticket would be able to even park. Right. That's why we got Sabina to actually take us and drop us off. Right. Because yes, we had a ticket, but we wanted to get there quicker. Right. And I knew that you're going to have to show your ticket to the people at the gates to be able to park. So apparently you could park without showing your ticket. What? That's number one. That's right. Weird. That was an issue. That's odd. So people ended up parking that didn't have. And then the email also said no tailgating.
That's right. That was.
Why were there people there outside of the stadium with no? First of all, there are people outside of the stadium trying to buy tickets. Right?
That part was crazy.
But that's normal.
No, but it's
actually a normal thing.
I just say they literally had shirts that said, "Please, I need a ticket," and then there was other people who was like, "¿Quién está vendiendo una boleta? ¿Quién está?" Like, I can't even imagine.
So that's actually a normal thing.
That's crazy. I can't imagine.
People stand outside the Super Bowl. People stand outside the Super Bowl and try to buy tickets. Like, it's normal. And those people tend to get the fake ones, the ripped off.
That is crazy to me.
But that signifies to me that people without tickets were there. Just seeing people trying to buy, right? And then the level of security, right? It was like the security gate check. And then that was like 10 meters away from the ticket check.
And that's it.
And that was it.
And then you're in.
There was really nothing there holding people back from the edge of the stadium. And once you see the stadium, once you're that close, then the anxiety builds. Then you can hear things and you're like, oh my God, I need to get in there. And then everyone acts like animals. And then it's crazy.
I just have so many questions. Like, what do the people that went there, that snuck in, or like the girl that switched the ticket number on her ticket, what did she think she was going to do when she pulled up to that person's seat? Right. And that person is in their seat that they paid for.
So in the comments, they were asking her that. And people were just talking about how she would just edit it to have a different number until she found an empty seat.
Gosh.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, we saw someone in our section who jumped around like 4 or 5 times. It was crazy.
There is people literally playing music. What's that called? Musical chairs?
Musical chairs.
Yeah. It was like, oh, that seat over there is better than the one I got. I'm going over there.
But
and
you know
then
what
it just
the
kept
craziest
happening.
Part is that like the police started to come in after Shakira performed and they were starting to take people out.
Yeah.
And like these people were still like, it's to have the nerve. Like I can't even, like I really can't. I don't know. It's just, and you know what I also felt? I think when people finally got in, even those with tickets, I feel like they just took whatever seat they saw.
It's the only thing that was available.
That was the problem too.
So no. I honestly, even people with tickets ended up in seats that weren't theirs. It was just anything that was available. It was like 2 people per seat. It was really, really uncomfortable. We were all like sardines in there. It was very tight.
You
smoking,
really couldn't leave
drinking,
because somebody would take your seat. Tell me how my friend's friend, whose husband is in a wheelchair, had people sitting on him.
Whoa, the disrespect is crazy.
Yeah.
I'm also listening to this whole story for the first time. If you see me just back here like...
Yeah. No, because it's shocking. It really is. When I heard that, I was like, what the heck? It was that bad.
It was really satisfying to see when they finally got... So, as you said, the first half started going. The game started playing. And I think once these people were inside, they were like, oh, we're in. Like, that's it. They're just going to let us just be in here. So this couple that was in front of us actually decided to go to the bathroom,
which was so lame.
That's so dumb.
It was just waiting to happen.
So they went to the bathroom and guess what? They came back and then they asked for their tickets on the way back. They had nothing to show. Can't go to the seat.
You're out.
You're stuck out, right?
Yeah.
And then on top of that, if you go to Natalie's TikTok and you actually see like the wave of people that came in through the tunnels on the sides, not all of them found chairs. So there were people sitting on the steps. Right?
Though that
just kind of crammed sitting, watching the game, standing or sitting. until finally this one police officer shows up and he's like, everybody like out, right? Like he made them all go back out. And I saw multiple videos of a lot of police officers doing the same thing. They worked throughout the first half, the middle show, the second half in extra time, just kicking people out.
I hope they got a bonus.
That is a lot
until finally, like it started getting kind of empty. And I was like, oh, look, it's starting to look kind of fine.
Yes.
It's how it's supposed to be. And then these two dudes who you can tell got their tickets given to them by a company or whatever showed up. It seems like some people had taken their seats, and then the normal people started showing up, and we were like, okay, the vibe is like changing.
I felt terrible.
It's getting more comfortable
towards the last, like literally, it felt like the last 10 minutes of the game.
People still coming in
and just taking a seat. Oh my God, I would have been so angry. I would have been so pissed. That was my biggest fear, not making it into first. I just feared that. I was like, shoot. It was not cool.
Overall, the game.
You want to talk about Shakira for a second?
Let's talk about Shakira.
Well, let's start with Karol G. It shows how you know, honey.
Is that how you feel about Karol G? She makes you go, whoa.
Yes, especially about her singing the national anthem, which just I will save my cup of tea for later.
Tell us.
I remember I was telling you guys like this just feels rigged.
Wait,
like,
what part?
The whole thing, the fact that like Colombia made it to the finals undefeated, the fact that there was a whole song that was made for like Copa America, the fact that they flew.
You're saying rigged in favor of Colombia?
Yes, but not this instance. Just the fact that we made it.
No, so
this is a new segment called Conspiracy Theory.
So this is the conspiracy, all right? Because I'm heavily into soccer, right?
Yeah.
So this would have been the perfect moment for Colombia to have won because of Shakira and because of the song and because they were doing so well. But Argentina was on the easier side of the table. They only had to play Venezuela and Canada to make it, right? They also gave us a referee that was the referee that was in our loss 28 games before. It was the same referee. There was just way too many things that were in favor of Argentina. And they basically, in my opinion, just gave Messi a very easy trophy. It was not fair for Colombia from the start.
We'll get to those feelings because I do want to talk about how heartbreaking it felt around us. But I want to start with
Karol G. Okay. Tell me about Karol G.
It was such a moment because it was beautiful the way that you could only hear the stadium.
Yeah.
Like that's how loud everybody sung.
Mi patria, mi patria.
like I truly can't imagine how she felt. She was probably nervous, or because we even heard her practicing before we went in.
Yeah.
She was practicing. Like that must have felt so nice being like, oh my God, like, okay, I'm singing, but everybody's really the one singing. It felt so powerful.
She kind of blended.
She did.
It wasn't like she was leading. It was like we were all singing together. But I really
love that because it wasn't about her. It was about everybody. And that made it very powerful and amazing. Now, Shakira, I am a big, big fan of Shakira. And I was like, why is this happening? I was shocked at my own because not only was it so stressful.
It's out of place.
I was like, wait a second. I'm ready for the game. Like, what's happening here? So it did feel very out of place. And it felt like it should have either been at the beginning or at the end.
She probably should have played while they were waiting for the game to start.
Beginning.
That would have been.
Beginning for sure.
Yeah.
That should happen. They also extended the halftime, which has never happened.
Yeah.
Ever. A halftime is 15 minutes of rest for the players and then ended up being 25.
Yeah. And I'm not going to blame Shakira, but I did feel, maybe I'm blamed. No, just kidding. I did feel like Colombia was like in a heat, like in the beginning. And then after that, it almost felt like they lost control a little bit. Like it didn't feel as in the heat of it.
There was a lot of weird stuff that happened in the whole tournament. The other player that, in my opinion, is really good that we missed a lot in that last game, getting the red card because he got pinched in that Uruguay game. There was a lot that happened. But the Shakira thing was definitely out of place. There's no need for a halftime show in soccer. It just doesn't work kind of like football. That same thing doesn't work.
I was ready for her to be done. And I love Shakira.
Yeah. And like all that money that went towards her, I guess her, should have gone towards security.
Yup. Like, took the words out of my mouth.
Yeah, no. They definitely cheaped out on security. And what is the worst is that for the World Cup, FIFA has already made a schematic of security for that stadium and how they're going to go about things. And CONMEBOL decided not to follow that and did their own thing and hired the worst security. The same security we see at like VidCon and like these other tiny ass events.
It's true.
You know how many police officers they had? 300. They had 300 police officers for 67,000 people in the stadium and what was supposed to be 50,000 people outside the stadium.
You know what's really sad is that the worst security I've ever seen is at Playlist Live, which we've never gone again.
We stopped going because of that.
You want to know what the security is like? Because it reminded me of this.
They're asleep.
They were asleep on the job.
They sleep on the job.
Not saying that at Copa America was like that, but it felt like that same energy of like, I don't really care. Like, just, you know.
It's a part-time job for them. They're not diesel big ass security dudes who are like bouncers at a club. Nah, it's like
it was just rough. Yeah, let's just say the least.
Bad people who look like they don't want to be there, who let things slide, like bad security, whoever that company is that they use for all these things. Like, come on now.
So that was that.
Shakira,
damn,
Karol G, everything.
Should we go to the heartbreak?
Sure, go ahead. Sadness, pain all around me.
Man, the guy next to me was so heartbroken.
Natalie's been talking about this guy ever since.
Because
sobbing into his hands.
No, because backstory. He arrived somewhat like in between the mess of everybody coming in and out. And this guy came to like take pictures of his company. So he was constantly like, can you take, like he was interrupting me. Okay. Yeah. He's like, can you take a picture of me? Yeah. I was like, okay. Can you take a picture of me?
Like he'd whip out a PNG of his company's logo and ask to be taken a picture of.
So like over and over and over. And I felt, honestly, I was telling Dennis.
He'd pose with the phone.
I was telling Dennis today that I felt so bad because I got mad at him at the end and I was like, this is the last picture I'm going to take. Because my phone was on like 37 and I still needed the whole thing. But I felt terrible doing that because here's the thing. I don't know what it is, but I feel like Colombians are so kind, like in the way that they're always so giving. He was Colombian. And even in the game when he only had like 40% battery, he gave this other person
his
battery
charger
to charge when he could have charged his own phone. And that part, I was like, man. And then when I saw him cry, and then I just felt bad that at the end, I didn't really like, I'm like, where did he go? Like, I wanted to hug him.
He just left. He left though, right? He just left quietly.
So heartbroken. Like crying into your hands, heartbroken.
Yeah.
We never sat down the whole game because you really couldn't. Everybody was standing. And when they scored, honey, you sat down and that was so heartbreaking. And you know what's sad is like I recorded that moment. I didn't even notice, but everybody's commenting in the video. They're like, what the heck's going on in the back? Because the guy like gave his girlfriend like the biggest wedgie because she was being hugged. And I was like, man, I wish that had been me.
You wanted a wedgie?
I wish that had been our experience versus like me. You were so heartbroken. It was sad, guys.
I told Natalie that the moment Argentina scored, we all deflated. It felt like we shrunk.
When he said that, it was true because Colombia was so loud. And I also felt like it felt like everybody was Colombian.
I looked around the stadium and it all looked yellow at the beginning. And when they scored and I looked around, I only saw Argentina.
It was wild, guys. It was wild. That part. Oh, that was really, really sad.
Yeah, so it ended and then we waited a little bit longer than normal because we wanted to make sure that, you know, all the weird non-metal detector people left.
And Dennis was so
I sat through the entire...
Yeah.
I got beef. It was like 2 a.m. and I'm sitting at this freaking like gas station with all of the mob of people.
Oh my God.
A mob. I'm like, can we go home?
Yeah.
I want to go home.
I know, but literally we couldn't have left.
Oh, yeah.
I remember I was telling Dennis, I even wanted to wait longer because just the fear of, first of all, what just went down and now to have to do it again.
So first of all, we're probably the only people, Colombians in our section, who actually stayed to watch the entire trophy ceremony while we were waiting for people to leave. Everyone around us was very friendly, though. All these Argentinians were saying they had a bitter looking face and they had to fix it, which is funny.
They didn't say you had a bitter looking face.
Muchacho, tiene la cara amarga, arréglela.
Yeah.
¿Qué te doy?
But they did it out of kindness.
Yeah.
When you say you have a bit, it makes
No, I'm saying now bitterly that they said that I had a bitter face
so
sweetly.
Nice. The guy was so worried for him. He was like, take this beer, chick. Like, here, like be happy. It's okay.
You guys made it to the finals. You made it. And
like, what were y'all expecting against us?
Winning.
Yes,
we were the better team in my opinion.
I agree.
That's soccer wise. That's more, deeper into it. But so we watched the whole ceremony.
Can I just say one thing?
And then we left.
And then I want to get.
We walked for like 25 minutes. Got to the car. Drove 4 hours to Orlando. Raw dogged it. No music. No nothing.
Okay, you could have. Me and my boyfriend are very heavy sleepers. I'm just putting that
heavy.
out there.
Jonathan was snoring and making sounds.
All right, tell us about your experience.
No, you said you were going to say something. Wait, what were we going to say?
I was going to say something, but I kind of forgot. Tell us about your experience.
So my version of Copa America. So I got a text that we're leaving their house at 8 a.m.
Damn, girl, you started from the beginning.
Damn.
Yes. My term. I have the stage.
Yeah. My eyes opened in bed.
And Jonathan was snoring.
He snores morning, evening, nighttime. Guys, stay sleeping.
And Agustin, her cat, was staring over.
He actually does that sometimes.
So as Jonathan was snoring, what? Tell us more about the snoring.
I actually sleep more than him, but I'm gonna stop bothering him. So I get that text and we're like, oh. So we leave my house at like 7:30. We get there, whatever. So right off the bat, when we get there, we go eat lunch. Lunch?
Colombian food.
Yeah. We get our Colombian food. I'm like trying to order him 2 portions of chicken. And they're like, girl, I think he's good with 1. I'm like, gotta make sure he's well fed. Anyways, so we're like looking up different Colombian bars to go watch this game because the atmosphere is what we were really looking for. Not even like what they had to offer. We were just looking for the atmosphere.
Just to clarify, Selena and her boyfriend had no tickets. They were dropping us off at the gate, so we didn't have to park. And then they went around Miami trying to find somewhere to watch the game.
Yes,
we were denied from 3 bars.
Yikes!
For not having a reservation.
Which is so
why
crazy.
would I get a reservation to a bar?
Literally, I've never heard of that, by the way. I've always heard of like first come, first serve.
Yeah.
Especially for stuff like that. So it's very interesting they did that.
Like literally we go to this place and it's locked.
Yeah.
But it's like a few hours before the game. Like we caught the end of the Euro Cup.
Yeah.
The very end. So I'm knocking on the door like, I see you in there. Like, let me in. And she's like, ¿Tienes reservación? No. Pues hoy somos reservación solamente.
Wow.
I know. And mind you.
Why do you keep showing your face, honey?
Because
What?
he hates me.
I'm showing our
He
reaction.
hates me.
No, I've been showing her the whole time.
Listen, pause.
She says something.
She gave her
our
all
reaction
listening to our story.
Yeah.
You give your all.
I showed Samina while we were talking too. I gave her reactions and stuff. When we react, and I show it.
When do you look dead in the camera like, help me?
Every time I talk. Anytime I talk.
Okay. So
anyways.
Where did he find the ability to see the game?
Yeah, so after our third no, I just go, babe, look up the closest white bar you can find. So we go to an Irish pub.
Oh my God.
And it is not run by Irishmen. It is run by Hispanics.
Are you sad at this point because you wanted?
Yes, we wanted the atmosphere, but I also took him to the semifinal game, and that really gave him a sense of like at the restaurant.
That's true.
So and they had anyways. So that really gave him the experience, but still I was like, damn, I was not expecting this. And everything in Florida is so far away. When I tell you, like the 3 bars, it took us like 3 hours.
Yikes, dude.
Like, because then we had to find parking, walk up, get denied. What do we do now?
So
let's go find another spot.
How are the streets?
I told you from the beginning, go to Buffalo Wild Wings. It would have worked.
How are the streets at this point?
Literally? Okay, because Dennis had suggested to go closer to the like Miami Beach area, like the shore. Mm-hmm. So I go to that area and it's just a bunch of tourists, honestly. Mm-hmm. I saw more tourists than anything. But the closer we got to the game, the more people I saw walking around in jerseys. Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
But eventually, we get to the Irish pub, we sit down, whatever. And all of this craziness starts happening. And I felt so bad. The bartender was like, you see, this is just horrible because this is now a misrepresentation of our people because a lot of people like to generalize and say, oh, look at all those Latinos and how crazy they act. No, not all of us. And it's situations and it's like the people that, why are you even there if you don't have a ticket? That was the main thing that all of us at the bar were like talking about within ourselves. We were like, why are you there? Just go to a bar. Like what?
Literally.
It seems like people flew in without tickets. They were prepared to do that.
Exactly. Like, why are you flying in without a ticket?
Do you really think is that? Because I've heard that.
I've heard it.
You really think that's so crazy to me?
People that went with bad intentions from the start.
Get a reservation. You'll be having fun elsewhere in Miami.
I mean,
like, what?
The guy in front of us had like 3 different shirts and like 3 hats. He was prepared to run in and then change his outfit.
That was crazy.
Why do I have a fly flying around me?
There's a fly in my drink. It's depressing.
Ew.
Wait, are you serious?
Yeah.
Show me the drink. I want to see that fly.
You guys, I've been seeing more flies. I'm afraid.
You actually want to see my fly?
Wait, no thanks. No thanks, actually. No.
I think we do need to add this to the list. Somebody to deep clean the house. It's a must. It's a must.
But anyways, so... Actually, he might not be happy about me mentioning this. Tell me. So Jonathan's in a Colombia shirt right after Argentina gets that goal, but then it gets like, oh no, it's out of bounds or whatever. So he's waiting in line for the offsides. Yes. So he's waiting in line for the bathroom into the Argentinian. He goes like, damn, you know what? You guys are get the next one. You guys got this. You guys are really good. The Argentinian.
Jonathan says that to him?
Yes.
Why would he say that?
I don't know. He plays football. He's not a soccer. He has no idea.
Yeah.
Anyways, basically
But he wanted to be kind.
He wanted to be kind. He's a kind boy. And the Argentinian basically flips him off. The drunk man. And he's from Jersey.
Wait,
so
he
Jonathan
flicks him off in his face? I don't know.
No, basically he called him an R word. Yeah.
I don't know what the R word is.
I'll tell you after we stop recording. Yeah. This is a family friendly channel. But anyways.
Is it Spanish or English?
Are you being dead ass?
I swear. I don't know.
Tell you, I don't know what it would be.
Did he call him special? Like special as in like slow?
Yes.
Oh. Yes. Of course he'd be slow if he's telling the other team that you got it and he has a jersey on.
Anyways, my Jersey man was like, those are fighting words.
I didn't know this was like a thing you can't say in soccer.
It's like you're telling me that you have that jersey on and I am Argentina and you're like, oh, you got it.
Like, yeah, I thought that's okay. That's a nice thing. That's good to know. Maybe it's not a soccer thing. I don't know.
Okay, in all sports,
educate us.
In all sports, you don't root for the others, no matter if they're playing better or not. You don't do that.
It sounds kind of respectful.
You don't compliment. You don't compliment.
Sorry, we are trying not to be sore losers.
On second thought, this is the thing though. At the stadium, there were a bunch of Argentinians around me that were saying, "Oh, your number 6 is really good."
Yeah.
Or you can say within your group, "Oh shit, they're playing better than us."
Yeah.
But you can't look at somebody else and say, "You got this," and you're wearing a jersey from the other team. You do look R.
So anyways, moral of the story.
Poor John.
I know, I feel so bad for him. But the owners of the bar kicked out the Argentinian for being too drunk.
Oh, no way. He kicked him out. Damn.
Was he that like mean or?
Yes, that's what I'm trying to like.
Oh, so it must have been pretty
So he got
intense.
aggressive.
Yes, like he was trying to get aggressive with my boyfriend and he's from Jersey and like.
What does that mean?
Like, those are fighting words. I'm not showing him this, Jesus. But
he's from Jersey.
Exactly. I don't know what else to respond.
He's got that. He's got that Guido energy.
Exactly. Anyways, so then he comes back and sits back down with me. He goes, "Babe, I swear it wasn't me. It was him." I'm like, "Are you sure?" I'm like, "Are you sure it wasn't you?" And he's basically just like, "That guy got kicked out, not me." And I was like,
"Damn." I wonder where that guy had to go then. That sucks.
Yeah, because he was too drunk to drive.
Well,
but anywho, I was also going to say, going back to your guys' side of the story, a thought that I had while you guys were talking was like canceling it. Once it hit 9 p.m. and it hadn't started yet, I was like, why can't this be pushed to tomorrow?
Want to know why? You want to know why? Money. That's why. They'd rather do it and
it was all
mess with people's safety.
Inconvenient. It was,
sickly.
Yeah, it was poorly organized.
Tisk to the security guards and the people organizing. Tisk.
I do want to say overall, our own personal experience was good.
Amazing.
Oh yes.
Not have been better.
There were moments where we were like, oh, this is getting kind of weird, especially in terms of danger because of like the people that weren't supposed to be there.
We had the
but I kept telling Natalie, I kept saying, keep in mind, no one here is really being aggressive. All everybody wants is to watch the game.
Exactly.
And that's what happens when tickets get too expensive, right? When things are out of people's reach and they are that big of a fan of a certain, team or whatever, then things get weird because then they're going to try to get in there. That happened. And I've gave you the same example about sneakers. Sneakers got too expensive. And what happened? People started making fake sneakers. This happens in all types of hobbies. If things start getting way out of your budget, then people find other ways of doing it or being there or creating that thing.
There's so many little things that I want to mention that just kind of stood out because I'm not really a soccer fan, but this made me one. It was crazy. Like I remember I told Dennis, I was like, I love basketball so much and I love the energy, but there is nothing in the world like this, like soccer fans. It is so much passion. Mm-hmm. You know what? It's crazy because I looked at the guy that was crying and I didn't quite like, I felt the sadness, but I didn't quite understand it until that moment where it was like, we lost. Soccer is that deep.
It's in our blood.
And you know why it's deep? Because it represents a whole country. And in those moments, you think about everything. I really thought about my parents. I thought about our heritage. You start to think about everything Colombia's been through. And it's so deep. It starts to get so crazy. Even the songs that they start to sing. Argentina had the most beautiful songs. And it's just like the guy that was in front of me with his 2 kids. And they were both like, yeah. And it's just so beautiful.
I think about Colombia, like, as the game was going on, I was like, every mall in Colombia is full. Every park in Colombia is full. Everybody's in the streets. Everybody's getting drunk. Everybody's celebrating this moment right now and is watching what we're watching. Like how many people I think the ratings were saying? It was like 10 million people were watching that game simultaneously at the same time.
My friend had to get the ESPN free trial in order to watch it because she was illegally watching all the previous games.
Oh my gosh.
It's that big. Like those 11 people on the field are representing an entire country of 50 million people.
Yeah.
It's a lot of responsibility on their shoulders, huh?
Mm-hmm. It is. Yeah. So it was really beautiful in that sense. It really felt that deep. I also really liked how I thought this was interesting, actually, because I've obviously never been to like soccer stadiums and, things could get kind of wild. But the man who was in front, who had the 2 kids, he turned around during a few moments and he was like shaking everybody's hands like, good game, like just in case. Because we've seen that some fans can get a little like angry. And so he almost like befriended everyone.
Yep.
It was very interesting. I thought it was an interesting.
Don't mess with my kids.
Yeah. An interesting.
Don't mess with my kids.
Yeah. Yeah.
Argentinian stadiums are another thing. Like those are wild. So you could tell that the guy had experience in terms of being in stadiums.
Yeah.
And the thing is, in those stadiums, the fans are separated. You do not mix with fans of the other teams. Like they're not sitting around you. Right. Maybe that can be something that can be utilized in the future games. It kind of is nice to be mixed though, because it shows camaraderie in sportsmanship with countries.
I thought it was cool because even the guy being like, yo, your number 6 is awesome, or like, all of those moments, which is like really cool. They're like, damn, I love this song, like el ritmo que nos une. They're like not wanting to sing it, but they're like, I love this song.
But when you're all from one country, you kind of, and everybody around you is singing the same song, it's a little stronger.
It is strong.
Because we were singing it and then like El Himno, we were singing it and then like obviously the people next to us that were Argentinian, they weren't. So it was like little pockets. It was like here and there and there and there, so there's pros and cons to that. But we really appreciate you guys watching this recap of our Copa America and how everything went. Thanks for tuning in. If you're listening to this on Spotify or Apple Podcast, please rate it. And if you're watching it on YouTube, leave a comment and give us a like real quick.
And for more visuals, I actually have another vlog all about the experience. A 46-minute vlog. Check it out.
I'll actually link it at the top of the description. So that way they can actually experience Copa America with us.
Yeah.
And then real quick, I also want to say thank you to TikTok for sending us.
For sure.
I don't think we've actually said it.
Oh yeah.
Well, we said it in the content, but yeah, thank you
Yeah.
so much. That was the greatest experience of our life.
It was
I
amazing.
even had fun and I didn't even get to go in. I got to explore Miami and it was kind of fire. I ordered a mango. I ate just a mango.
Tell me how I posted on my stories my midnight snack for the 4-hour drive, and I got dragged because it was a weird looking tuna sandwich.
It really was.
It was weird. I was actually kind of weird.
Who dragged you?
I got dragged by the comments saying that it looked like a weird sandwich. They did though.
Because I posted for Dennis on Instagram and he's like, just post whatever. So I'm like, all right, this was how the night started. This is how the night ended.
All right. Well, thank you, everybody. We appreciate you so much. And we'll see you in the next one on Friday, 4 p.m. Eastern time. 4 p.m. Eastern time next Friday. Bye.